Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are. In the world, I'm in London doing the nighttime devotion from the devotional Christ Triumphant. The title today, Jesus in the Heart. John 17 verse 23. I in them and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. Enoch not only meditated and prayed and put on the armour of watchfulness, but he came forth from his pleadings with God to plead with unbelievers. He did not mask the truth to find favour with unbelievers, thus neglecting their souls. This close connection with God gave him courage to work the works of God. Enoch walked with God and had the testimony that his ways pleased God. This is the privilege of every believer today. It is a believer dwelling with God and God taking up his abode with the believer. I in them and thou in me, says Jesus. To walk with God and have the witness that their ways please him is an experience not to be confined to Enoch. It's not to be confined to Elijah or to the patriarchs, the prophets or the apostles or even the martyrs. It's not only the privilege but the duty of every follower of the Christ to have Jesus enshrined in the heart, to carry him with them in their lives, and they will indeed be fruit bearers, fruit-bearing trees. How many who have been entrusted with talents of influence and means have lost sight of the pattern, follow the standard of the world instead of the example of the Christ. Men and women who have been blessed with an abundance of money, with houses and with lands, generally train their children in the life of idleness and self-indulgence. Thus, they're made useless for this life and unfit for the future, immortal life. Christ in his life gave people an altogether different example. In his youth, he worked with his father at the carpenter's trade. But the youth of today are educated to believe that it is the money that makes the person. The sure result of such education is seen in the pride, the vanity, the love of pleasure, the sinful practices that are so prevalent in this degenerate age. Where there is an abundance of idleness, Satan works with his temptations to spoil life and character. If youth are not trained to useful labour, whether they be rich or poor, they're in peril, for Satan will find employment for them after his own order. The youth who are not barricaded with principle do not regard time as a precious treasure, a trust from God for which every human being must give an account. Money is also a trust from God. It is given to parents not to use in an extravagant way to gratify pride in the ruin of themselves and their children. but that they may have the means to do good for persons in need. Jesus in the heart. So it focuses on spending time with God, as it says Enoch did. But he not only meditated and prayed and put on your armor of watchfulness, but he spent time pleading with unbelievers. He went and pleaded, he preached, he reasoned with people. But he didn't dwell there. As I've said previously, you have to be very aware, very wary where you stay. Who is around you? What are the influences around you? As I said previously, by beholding, we become changed. The more you spend time around others, depending who they are and what they are, it would influence you as well. We all think we would be the influencer, but many times we are influenced. Here we're reading about having that close connection with God, so he can be our courage, our strength, our wisdom. And he, as we would yearn to abode with God, we invite him to abode with us. And I like it here where it says to walk with God and to have the witness that their ways please him, that our ways please God, is not an experience confined to Enoch or Elijah or the patriarchs. We all look to all those people in the Bible and you think, oh wow, I'd love to be like that. But we can be like that. It takes a lot of discipline and patience, and be willing to learn, be willing to unlearn what we've been taught in this world, and to relearn the truth of this world. I also like the fact that it talks about the youth are being, you see a lot of adults now may have had a difficult childhood. They had to work hard and work from a young age and didn't get to go to college or university because they had to go straight to work, etc., etc. Then they say, oh, I don't want my children to have to go through that. And then they spoil them. They give them everything they want so they can have an easier life. And that's totally the wrong way to do it. Because if you had to go through all that hardship and you see yourself as a fairly decent person, it obviously paid off. And I'm not saying you should force your children to go through hardship, but you should teach them to appreciate everything they have, not to give them everything, but yes, to make them work for it still. Not to go through hardship, but still that they have to work for it to appreciate it. And I'm not just talking about money. As it says here, time. Time really and truly is your most precious commodity. You can never get it back. It's not like money. Money you can always get. Time you can't. It's gone. Done. Finished. The word I said, I can't get that back. The time I said to get it, the time I spent to say the word, that's gone. So every day I do these devotions, it's very precious time to me for you. And I enjoy spending this time doing this for you and you. It is for me too, because I learned from this. I learned from these devotions. I'm hoping you are too. We're not just learning about the characters in the Bible, we're learning about their life's purpose, the trials they had to go through, what they had to endure, the discipline they had. Enoch had amazing discipline, but it wasn't so hard for him because he wasn't so tainted by everything of the world. We have got a far harder struggle, but that's why Jesus came, lived and died for us and still lives for us. So he can be that strength we need. He can be that wisdom we need. He can be our source of everything we need. Draw your strength from him, because it's all there. Just waiting for us to grasp it, use it, and be it. God bless you.